Hello again, my little beardlings, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, we are going to be doing something we've not done in a little while. We're going to be taking a look at an old world unit. I have been playing a lot of old world recently with the recent 1.5 update. I have to say, the game has gone from great to absolutely bloody awesome. And so my old world hype is at an all-time high. And I thought, you know what? What a better way to celebrate my old world hype by doing an old world unit review. And we're going deep underground with this one because we're going to the Dwarf Warriors. And I don't mean to alarm you, but I think that Dwarf Warriors might be kind of broken. I think they might have gone in one fell swoop from an underloved, underutilized unit to an absolute staple in every dwarf army. A bold statement indeed. I'm going to need to back this up. So let's heft our axes and dive right into this.
You there, guardsman! Do you like multi-part plastic sci-fi infantry that doesn't cost a kidney? Well, good news! The Mordian Glory channel is now officially sponsored by Wargames Atlantic. Wargames Atlantic sells fantastic sci-fi models which are perfect as alternative Imperial Guardsmen. This includes the Bulldogs, totally not Praetorians, or the Legrognards, which are totally not Mordians, Vestorians, or Kriegers, all in one box. And the best bit is, Wargames Atlantic offers a bulk buy discount, and the more you buy, the bigger the discount. Perfect for amassing those huge platoons of guardsmen. So what are you waiting, you fool? Click on the affiliate link down below, get yourself some great models, and support the channel today.
Let us begin with a cheeky gander at the Dwarf Warrior stat line. The humble Dwarf Warrior has a movement of 3, which is pretty slow, but it's dwarves at the end of the day. What do you expect? You can at least march 6 inches, and of course you can be a marching column and move 9 inches. And I mentioned marching column because you can actually take Dwarf Warriors, your basic Dwarf Warriors, as drilled if you want to at 1 point per model, at 0 to 1 units per 1,000 points. So in a standard 2,000 point game, you can actually have 2 units of Dwarf Warriors which are drilled. And considering that they are a core unit, you're probably going to end up with at least one of these squads in your army. You should have at least one. And taking them as drilled can definitely help with their movement shenanigans. Next, we have a weapon skill of 4, which is actually a big deal. I play a lot of Empire, and I've been playing a lot of Orcs and Goblins recently, and I've just got very used to having weapon skill 3, but I tried my Dwarves out in a game, and God, weapon skill 4 is such a nice thing to have. It doesn't often mean that you do that much more damage output. It just means that the enemy hitting you is typically hitting you on 4s rather than 3s. And that is a big deal because, as we'll see later on, we're going to be taking our Dwarf Warriors in a very, very defensive manner. And it's this defensive manner which I think could make them so broken. So having weapon skill 4, we're not that bothered about it in terms of damage output, but in terms of making us just that bit harder, it means that the enemies are going to have to use actual elite units, weapon skill 5 or higher, to be hitting us more often than not. Ballistic skill 3 is irrelevant as we don't have any ranged weapons. Strength 3, bit of a pisser, but as we said, we're looking at these guys in a more defensive nature, so not too bad. And if we want to, we can give them great weapons. We can give our Dwarf Warriors great weapons, and they're only 1 point per model. I feel like in most other armies, I'd be paying like 2 or 3 points per model. But dwarves, great weapons, I can get behind it. There is an argument then, wouldn't you just go to Longbeards? And I think Longbeards are better for the choppy. But it's still an option and not one that should be overlooked for your Dwarf Warriors. If Strength 3 is a little disappointing, Toughness has got our back because T4 is brilliant. T4 combined with Weapon Skill 4 and some of the other stuff we're going to look at, it's really starting to stack up those defensive buffs. Rounding out the stat line, we've got 1 wound and initiative 2. The initiative really isn't such a big problem because we're often going to be going second anyway because we're going to be getting charged. 1 attack, fine. Leadership 9, very nice. Base leadership 9. makes me green with envy as an Empire player and as an Orc and Goblin player. And all of this good weapon skill, this good toughness, and this brilliant leadership, all of this for just 8 points. And if you take the veteran, who's essentially your squad leader, you get an extra attack. So you should always take the veteran, but it's important to note that your leadership doesn't go down if he dies, let's say, in a challenge. Now, this alone for 8 points would absolutely be worth it. But then we get to the fact that dwarves have got heavy armor as standard. I keep saying this, but the more I look at Dwarf Warriors, the more jealous I get as an Empire player. You got base weapon skill 4, you got better toughness than me, better leadership than me, better armor than me, for like 2 or 3 points more. What's going on here? What's going on here? Jeez Louise, heavy armor. Now, we've already talked about great weapons and how they are an option. I don't think that's where you want to be looking. I think it's an option, but I don't think it's the primary weapon you should be going for. I think the primary purpose of your Dwarf Warriors is to be a tar pit. To be a unit which just for a cheap price point is very durable. And maybe you've got some characters in there, so it's a nice point sink as well. Because you could say, oh, well, if it's really durable, no one will charge it. Well, that is true, but if you've got some juicy points in there, and you've got enough points in there via characters and stuff where the enemy kind of has to charge it, otherwise they're not going to get enough victory points off you, then Dwarf Warriors are really, really effective at doing that. Because for just 1 point... Fuck the great weapons. For one, sorry, excuse my language. But for 1 point, we get shields. And in the recent update, that is insane. Before the match play update, shields gave us a 4+ save. Because heavy armor plus shields equals 4+. But now, thanks to parry, we get a 3+ save. In a game where, frankly, a 4+ save is already a very big deal, getting a 3+ save on your basic bozos for 9 points a model is actually broken, is actually bonkers. Because think about the meta we're in. Think about the state of the game that we're in. Big monsters, not as prevalent anymore. Cavalry is good, but... you take a big unit of cavalry and slam it into the front of a unit of Dwarf Warriors, that's only going to go one way. Even with some of the best cavalry out there, it's only going to go one way. Those Dwarf Warriors are going to take it on the chin, and they're going to keep taking it on the chin. They're not going to break either. They're leadership 9. Maybe high if they've got a character leading them. So it just makes them ridiculously trouble. This is the whole crux of the video. Shields, heavy armor, plus hand weapons, plus toughness 4, plus weapon skill 4, plus leadership 9. All of that at 9 points. I do not care I'm strength 3. I do not care I'm movement 3. I am a brick wall. Rock and stone. I will not bend. I will not break. I am a Dwarf Warrior, and this is the shield line, and it will hold. But by the honor of my ancestors, it will hold. Especially for 9 points. Speaking of holding the line, we come with shield wall inbuilt. We don't even have to pay for it. So when the enemy charges in with their lances, that's a big unit of cavalry. When the enemy charges in with their lances, and inevitably we sort of lose that first round of combat. I mean, I say inevitably, but we're still going to be all right because we've got heavy armor, shield, and all that kind of stuff. We've got a 5-up save against lances. Oh, amazing. But the enemy comes charging in. We're going to pass our leadership because we're going to be leadership 9 or leadership 10 if there's a character nearby. There's going to be a BSB, so we're going to be fine on the leadership front. And we just give ground. Now, because we've just given ground and the enemy follows up, they then don't count as charging. So they don't have their initiative bonus, which probably won't matter all that much with initiative 2, but if they've got great weapons, it'll matter. And it also means that they then won't have first charge the next time. If we go back to our unit with lances, again, just keep using that as an example, they'll charge in, we'll give ground, they follow up, and then we can just start hacking. And then we're just stuck in there. And I've looked at this through the lens of cavalry, but you could apply this to infantry. You could apply this to anything. Shield wall plus a 3-up save plus the points value that we've got here is just so good. It leaves plenty of room to go and buy upgrades as well, because you could go great weapons and shields, because now you can swap between rounds of combat. So first turn, take it on the shields, shield wall, give ground. Okay, next turn, opponents don't have the charge bonuses and stuff that they want, so less likely to be doing as much damage. Okay, let's sling the shields, pull out the great weapons, choppy, 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 choppy. And that would only be 10 points. It's still not very expensive. Not very expensive at all. For the level of flexibility you've got there, it's wildly effective and wildly efficient as well. If you had to squeeze every point, I'd say leave the great weapons at home. But in a brick of 20 to 30 Dwarf Warriors, if you've got 30 points left over, you're like, oh, I don't know what to take my last 30 points. Oh, I could give this squad leader some bullshit rune. Yeah, you could do that. Or you could give your unit drilled if you want more maneuverability, because that's 1 point per model. Or you could go for great weapons. I know I've been doing a lot of hype and hyperbole, but let's just get down to brass tacks now and just summarize what these Dwarf Warriors are bringing to the table and how valuable it is. They're a core unit which isn't a tax. They're actually viable. They're something you want to include in your army. They're phenomenally durable at a 9 points per model cost, and they've got many different tricks of the trade which can allow you to make them really punch up above their weight. Whether you're someone that's looking at taking these as a minimum level or someone that's looking to really lean into them and dial them up to the 9s, I don't think that would be a waste. I know it is sometimes possible to get carried away and to overstat pad units, but I honestly don't think it would be the worst idea in the world to have either a unit of Dwarf Warriors just with shields or a unit of Dwarf Warriors with shields, great weapon, and drilled. Yes, you're getting up to 11 points per model, but all of those things are valuable. You're not padding the unit out and it's going to not use any of those bits. It's going to use drilled every game because you start a marching column, then you drilled. You're going to use shields every game. Those great weapons are probably going to get used every single game, because just being able to pull out a great weapon in between rounds of combat and start twatting people is valuable. Very valuable. I would take a unit of Dwarf Warriors. I would happily not only put them in my list, but put them into some very, very gnarly situations, and I bet they would come out on top. I bet they can go toe-to-toe with even elite units in enemy armies, and I bet they can bully other enemy core infantry. If I had to bet on Dwarf Warriors versus Empire State Troops, my heart tells me the State Troops, but my head tells me the Dwarf Warriors. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Are Dwarf Warriors broken? Do they get even better inside the Royal Clan? I mean, don't they get like reroll once they're saved then or something crazy? And do you think that they are now a staple in every Dwarf army, or is there another core choice that you think might be better? What about those Quarrelers or Thunderers? I might have to look at those next time. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode.
Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and Patreons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Redfield, 32, Jurgens, Miasma, Try Again, Bragg, RJ, Scorpion, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Nicholas Walsh, John Stubbs, Guardian, Varney, Sword, Fish Trombone, Picklock the Forged. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.